Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide, and in today's video we are checking out the remarkable release 3.18, and it's already kind of announcing one of the features that has now come to the Remarkable Paper Pro, and that would be the auto rotation. So let's check it out. And here are the release notes for the update release 3.18 on the Remarkable platform altogether. So yeah, all of the devices will receive this, but yeah, the rotating display is going to be effective only on the Remarkable Paper Pro auto rotation, simply because it has the hardware accelerometer inside, and the Remarkable 1 and 2 don't have that piece of hardware to enable auto rotation to function. Let's see how that works. And before I test it, I'm just gonna say it's about time that the whole ecosystem has that ability, simply because when Remarkable Paper Pro was launched, yeah, it has an accelerometer, but it didn't have this functionality. So it took well over half a year for this device to actually get that functionality, but it is here now. And I'm happy to report that it actually works seamlessly and system-wide. So it's not like a half-ass solution like just in documents or just in notebooks. Nope, this is a full-on system-wide auto rotation. And as soon as you just kind of turn it around, it reorients itself and everything works as you would expect it to. So all of the options are normal in the landscape mode, and the gestures work as you would expect them to. So there are no real issues that I have a problem with as far as the system-wide orientation goes. It seems to be working well. This trend of it working well translates nicely to the documents as well. So you can see that as soon as you turn things around, the device updates and it all works as it should. So it rearranges itself and it works fine. Similar theme continues in the notebooks, which is great because you just turn around your notebook and it rearranges itself nicely. And you can actually see that the templates do stretch the lines across the surface normally. So when you turn to landscape mode, the templates are programmed in such a way that they do extend, which is a nice thing to see. And for the typed content, we do get the same type of functionality. So the auto rotation works in notebooks really well too. This particularly is a really welcome addition because now it is completely effortless to work with MDO and MMP, because it becomes really practical and simple. For example, I can simply navigate to, let's say, the day that I want to be in, and instead of manually zooming in to fill in things, I can simply switch now to here and everything zooms in, fits to width, and now it feels natural to fill in these lines. And of course you can just slide around in the along the page normally. The only thing that I don't like is this option of the margins in documents for the for the PDF reader. I wish that the Remarkable as a platform had an option, general option, on a per document basis that you can enable or disable wide margins, which would make it so simple. I mean, I just don't understand why that's not an option, but it's not. So that's still there. So you will encounter it in the landscape mode as you do encounter it here as well. However, for example, here we go to weekly notes, and now it is super easy to fill in. And it just makes perfect sense, and it blends into this kind of functionality perfectly seamlessly. The next improvement are toolbar changes, and there has been some simplifications to the toolbar itself, so basically regrouping of icons, mainly that the document setting button is now where you can find the send files and convert notes to text and the screen share options. So that looks like this. As you can see in the bottom left corner, it's a much simplified selection now. So we have document settings, we have tags, tags, and we have the notebook overview. Now, if I open the notebook or document settings, you will find the screen share, send by email, and convert to text options are now there, and that definitely makes sense. I am all for kind of logical grouping, simplification of things, etc., etc. The only danger here could be that because everything is exactly the same looking, and now we're starting to have like 7 options, it's still not too much, but it's starting to be a little bit crowded here without any kind of UI grouping. So basically to separate just maybe with a thicker line so that visually the user can more easily identify chunks. Because when we look at something, our brain cannot really easily comprehend 7. If we see 7, it's going to be too much. 4 would be the absolute limit, but that's still uncomfortable. The best grouping is basically the rule of 3s. And if you have like 3 options for one group and then 2 options for another group, 4 you can get by with. Something like that with just a simple bold line between logical groups, I think would simplify the user experience and the user interface here a little bit, because 7 options, all exactly the same type of drawers, or UI drawers they're called. For some people it can be perceived as a little bit disorienting and messy. This issue is particularly true and noticeable in the documents, because here we have one more option with the increased contrast. So basically we have 8 options, and the issue is further exacerbated by the addition of 2 options that have double lines and that are now a little bit wider. So in one way it does help to differentiate them, and they do have a logical connection. However, I think that the same rules apply here, and the issue of these 2 having bigger width than the rest of them just also kind of makes it look a little bit messy. Some better UI rules for grouping and organizing the options within a menu would be needed to actually make this an overview of this type of menu better, because now it has grown into something a little bit bigger. And the final addition is in relation to the desktop and mobile apps for the Remarkable, and they've added the document scanner functionality. You can use the Remarkable app to, as they say, scan anything and convert it into a PDF with the latest update of the Remarkable mobile app. Oh, so it's just the mobile app. Tap the plus icon, blah blah blah, and then make physical paper part of your digital workflow, which in theory works, but there are issues. So let me show you how it works. Alright, so I have the Remarkable app on my phone opened. Let's zoom in here so you can see the whole thing. And the plus icon here, so this one right there, if you tap it, it will say, hey, you can add a notebook, folder, quick sheets, and now we have the added option of the scanned document. So when you go into the scanned document, it automatically fires up the camera, and as soon as it notices a page of text, it will smartly kind of track it. As you can see, this kind of blue outline around here. So all I need to do is kind of match this in a good way, and you have like auto capture. So I can take a snapshot. And now when I've taken a snapshot, I am now added to the, or forwarded to the edit option. And let's say that I don't want to edit, that I'm just taking an image like this. So I'm gonna go done. And this has now been added to the Remarkable paper tablet. And let's see, how does that look like when we go to the tablet here. So if I go to my files, well, the first problem is it's not really asking me, but that's like a regular thing, I guess, with Remarkable. It just doesn't ask me where to add this. Maybe that's my mistake. I'll do the test again because I want to show something else well. So maybe if I'm in another folder and I take the image or the scan, that it will place it in that folder. I certainly hope that that's the case. However, this is the scanned image. And I'm saying image because it only takes an image of the text. It has no advanced functionality at all on its own. However, yeah, the default setting is this. It doesn't do any OCR recognition or anything like that. So one of the main advantages of marking documents in on a Remarkable paper tablet or any tablet, Remarkable ones, is the highlighter. I love how the highlighter works, and what I expect from document functionality is the ability to use this in this fashion, because okay, so now it didn't understand it, but let's try and take maybe like this. Well, it has some issues here and there, but normally it works fine. So let's try it. Yeah, it was in the middle of it, so that's why I didn't take. But basically this type of functionality is something that I really, really like. And it also understands, like, if you do just separate kind of lining, it's very, very nice. Unfortunately, for that to function, it has to be a proper PDF file that has textual content, not an image content. And what we have here is more than obvious that this is a really badly captured and transferred image. And it's badly captured simply because I'm taking a photograph of the content on the Remarkable Paper Pro, which to begin with has some issues to display text. But as I said, okay, so not scribbling. You can of course scribble, but because it's an image, there's no functionality to highlight and recognize the text, because it's an image content, not a text content. All right, so what can we do to make this look a little bit better? And for it to actually have a better chance, I'm going to be using the Supernote Manta here, because it has a much, much better display quality. And what I'm going to be doing is, well, this time I'm going to go into a folder. So I'm just going to go into Documents, for example. My hope is if I hit plus, that the scanned image that's converted to a PDF is going to be placed there. So that's the expected behavior. So let's do scan the document again here. And yeah, so now I'm going to take an image of a better source to begin with. But you can see there's definitely highlight here. That's an issue. And that's why we have this editing. So first and foremost, I don't really want the whole image of the Supernote as a device. So I would like to crop. Okay, I've cropped it. Let's go apply. Okay, cool. Now we have filter. And here you have automatic filter, color filter, blah, 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 blah. But the thing that you really want to do is basically just go to black and white. And the black and white is the one that gives you like a really good starting position. You can also try the shadows one. You also have the grayscale, but I would advise going for black and white because it pumps up that contrast way, way more. And it helps you get rid of the highlight areas in a little bit better. So you can try with the shadows as well, if that makes any difference. So I'm gonna apply and go done. And of course not. And yet again, the persistent dysfunctionality and half-ass type of implementation of Remarkable features continues, because even though I am in a documents folder and this is where I added the plus sign, the document has not been added in the folder where I was, but it's being stubbornly added into the root, further disorganizing and distracting me from using the functionality as I want to use it. All right, well, that's that. So now let's check the new document. Let's see if it's gonna get there. I'm not seeing it. It's not being updated for some reason. All right, so now it worked. I had to go to airplane mode and back, or basically disable Wi-Fi and enable it to trigger or force the update so that it synchronizes with the new content. So now it's there. All right, so this is what we have scanned. and definitely it's a lot better than what we had previously. And when you're scanning documents, you will not have these issues of the highlights. This is only the case here because I'm in a very highly lit light box and I was using a device instead of paper, which has some sort of reflectivity. So you won't have that issue in normal use of this feature. And once you do the processing that I've shown you, it actually looks really, really good. I can show you an example from before. This is like taken from a computer screen without processing. And then I took another one and I processed it. And then you have a very nice quality scan. But even then, when you're kind of taking it from devices that have any kind of reflectivity, you will get into this issue of some highlights. So not on paper, but on devices, you absolutely have to use the post-processing to get it to work. This type of stuff obviously works. The problem, the initial problem that I talked about stays, and that is that this is in scanned image content. There's no OCR capability. You can annotate, right? Normally, so that's fine, but don't expect document word search. So you cannot search this document, and you cannot use the highlighter or text awareness highlighter. You can still use it normally like this, but it will not snap to the text. So that's something that you have to kind of keep in mind, that this is just an image. There's no OCR, there's nothing advanced. It's just a picture placed into a PDF file and transported to your Remarkable tablet. That's all it is. So it is useful in a certain kind of respect, but it is extremely basic. And in 2025, I would have expected a much, much more complete solution than this. Okay, so that's the update 3.18 for the Remarkable platform in general, presented here on my Remarkable Paper Pro. This seems to get yellower and yellower as time progresses, which is boohoo. As far as the update itself goes, most importantly, I think that it's continuing the tradition that we've seen since the release of the Remarkable Paper Pro, that these are no longer meaningless incremental updates with absolutely like no value whatsoever. That has definitely changed, and 3.18 obviously brings very meaningful things to the overall platform, and it's focused stuff. So the auto rotation on its own absolutely is a useful thing, definitely works with the platform as it should. However, there are two main things that I have with this. Number one is I was not able to find an option to turn the auto rotation on or off. And that is an absolute must. You cannot simply implement auto rotation and not give the users the option to disable that, simply because for any kind of use, you have to be able to disable it if you don't want to use it. I'm willing to believe that I've overlooked that, although I have checked, I cannot find it anywhere. At this point in time, with the track record that Remarkable has, it's not really entirely excluded that they have not included the option to turn off auto rotation. But hey, I make mistakes as well, so maybe I'm making a mistake. If I am, please do let me know in the comments down below, how can you turn off the auto rotation, because it seems completely bizarre that it's not a thing that you can do. The second problem that I do have is more in relation to the overall problem that's been consistently present, stubbornly so, with the Remarkable, and that is the absence of the ability to choose whether or not you want to use a scrolling page on a notebook, or if you want to see the wider margins and zoom out past a one-time zoom value on the documents. That definitely becomes a problem when you're using documents in a landscape format, because then you have to navigate with the screen and scroll, and as soon as you start scrolling, you're gonna run into that issue. So those 2 points are the problems that I have with the overall auto rotation functionality on the Remarkable platform as it is now. The menu stuff I've commented on. I think it's generally a good idea, but they need to be careful, and maybe maybe add a little bit more of UI differentiation. But the scanning app, I think that it makes perfect sense that they're focusing on that and that they are adding it to the overall ecosystem. As for the functionality, as I already said, I think some further refinement should have to be there. So auto filtering, or that you have the ability to set your automatic filtering to apply by default. So you can set like, hey, I like to use black and white and shadows because those are the types of documents that I'm going to be using, so that you are not constantly forced as a user to go through all of these things every time you do the scanning action. And absolutely most importantly, this should have had OCR recognition capability from the get-go. The libraries are there, the tech is there, everything is absolutely available and at disposal, and there is not a single excuse why this would have been released without the OCR capability, so that the scanned document is actually OCR'd, and what you get in your Remarkable is a genuine text PDF document that you can highlight, that you can search, that you can word search, and that you can do all of these things that you should and are expected to do with a regular PDF document, instead of just having an image that's saved as a PDF file. So yeah, it's, as a concept and a direction, I think that's a really good direction. Unfortunately, the implementation is as before. This is alpha level. This is not even a beta. This is just an alpha level. Hey, here's the concept of what we talked about. Oh, cool. Let's now work on it before we release it. That's at least how I would consider it if this was something that my team was working on. But overall, positive direction, definitely. We are veering away from the horribleness of the Typefolio and that just horrible stuff that was going on in 2024. It's nice to see genuine applications and genuine improvements to the platform to actually continue coming. So here's hoping that that direction stays. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And also do let me know about that auto rotation thing. Can I turn it off, and where can it be turned off? Because I kind of need it if I'm using it for reading documents and stuff. I was running into that as an issue. Also, do let me know what you think about the scanning app. Maybe my standards are too high. Maybe I'm just expecting too much in 2025. Are those expectations too high or not? What do you think? I am really genuinely interested to hear that as well. Either way, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found the video informative and or useful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below to get notified when new videos come out on My Deep Guide. And of course, visit the mydeepguide.com/shop, where you can find my daily organizer, or MDO, and MMP, My Deep Guide meeting planner, both of which are hyperlinked workbooks that help you organize all of your daily professional personal needs or meeting needs. And more information about both of these you can find in the description below. But know that purchasing of any of these products directly helps support independence of My Deep Guide. So thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!